Welcome to the Hughes Company podcast. I'm Cedric Hughes, and we're privileged to have with us today our guest realtor, Gennady Kravoy.
Thank you very
Gennady,
much.
thank you for coming here today.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're looking forward to hearing about your area of expertise. I think you're focused in the Pitt Meadows, Maple Ridge area for the moment, and you have brought with you some very interesting points about the condition of the market there.
Happy to share that. Again, thanks for having me. So
Yeah.
so I do work. I live in Maple Ridge. I've been working in that area mostly, but I do Fraser Valley and Vancouver area as well. Been doing it about 10 years. Love it. And over time, my career has kind of taken a focus on, helping people not just buy and sell homes, but also make their life better, like be healthier, happier, wealthier in their homes and that kind of thing. So market conditions definitely play a big part of that. So happy we'll get into that. What are your thoughts?
Well, let's hear about the market conditions and then hear about your particular interest in health and welfare of your clients.
Okay, good. Overall market, I mean, a lot of stuff everyone hears on the news all the time. Interest rates have gone through the roof, 4% up this whole year. Prices overall, they're still trickling down. They're not plummeting down as they were a few months ago. The main challenge right now is actually the number of sales and actually the percentage of sales. So for in our business, in addition to price, another factor we look at is sales ratios. In other words, what percentage of houses sell, right? So in a typical buyer's market, you're looking at about 5 to 15% of the houses selling. So for example, right now in Vancouver, West Vancouver, you might have 400 houses on the market. If only 20 of them are selling, that's 5%, or 40 of them are selling each month, 10%. That's a buyer's market. So that's what we're seeing now. Prices have kind of started to taper off a little bit, but the number of sales is much down, interest rates, inflation, a lot of stress in the market in general.
What's a typical home in terms of description and price in the areas where you're selling houses?
Well, a big thing, in the Maple Ridge, Fraser Valley area, $1 million has kind of become the threshold again. There was that peak last year where most houses went up over $1 million. Something that would have been 900 2 years ago went up to 1.4, 1.5. But that was peak. That was when money was really cheap.
Right.
2.5% interest rates, and qualifications were much easier. So now, in the Fraser Valley, my area, $1 million, if you price it below $1 million, you're going to get a lot of action, easy sell. Price it over $1 million, it's going to be tougher.
Right. And I think people watching, I'm guessing, are interested in what you get for $1 million.
For nowadays, $1 million, you'll get the typical home, right? Your single family home, in the Fraser Valley. We can have a 3-bedroom, 6,000 square foot lot, decent condition house. Not necessarily having a suite, not necessarily having privacy or stuff like that, but good average home for $1 million.
Right. And what age would that home be? It wouldn't be brand new, I gather.
No, those would that would be your 20 years and plus, right? The newer homes that have more of those, energy efficiency upgrades and green technology, and they'll be more expensive. And then you have the GST you have to pay on top of those also.
And the $1 million home in your area, it will have a backyard?
Not necessarily.
No.
A lot of properties are being subdivided, right? So it could be if it's an older property that was 12,000 square feet, they might cut it up into 4,000 square foot lots, right? So it's just you're putting in a house and not much backyard.
Okay.
There's been more emphasis because land has gone up so much, right?
Yeah.
The price of land. Yeah. So they're trying to squeeze more units into less space.
Right. And places for your car and your boat, what do you get with $1 million home? Is there room for 2 cars usually on the side of the house?
In $1 million home, not likely. If you want something you might get a townhouse
Yeah.
you know, where that can have two cars if you got those electric vehicles. And
Yeah.
RVs and those, if you have more than 3 cars, you got
Right.
to go farther out, like
Right.
not urban anymore.
But they will have at least, we would hope, accommodation for one vehicle.
Yes, yes. Although, like, it's becoming less of an issue to
Yes.
have like space for cars, unless you go in the electric stuff, right? Like the newer homes are being built with the, you know, the electric chargers in the garage,
Right. Right.
And condos as well. They're being built that way.
And you came here today to help us understand, to enlighten us a little bit about healthy homes, the issues related to healthy
Yeah,
homes,
yeah.
something that's, I believe, dear to your heart.
Very dear, yeah. So, like, I'm a healthy homes realtor. The
Yes.
reason I call myself that is that I believe a lot in having health in your home.
Yes.
Like, it's money. Like, we're talking about interest rates, prices, and all that stuff is good and useful. But if you're not healthy in your home, or if your home is not making you healthier, like, what's the point, right? So that's kind of been the philosophy behind of what I do. In 10 years of this business, honestly, 3/4 or more of the people that I've worked with were motivated to buy or sell because of a health related issue. Sometimes it was like a dire thing, like they just physically the air wasn't good in their area, or sometimes it was a mental health issue, like someone passed away or death, divorce. Like, you know, it's actually more rare for people to move when everything's all good. You know, well, we love the house, we just want a bigger house. That's not too common. So now, also given how things have changed in the past 3 years, you know, with like health consciousness in the world, the average person is much more conscious about their health than they were 3-4 years ago. The average person is spending more time at home, either working from home or just wanting to be near home, homeschooling their kids, for example. So having health in the home is that much more important. So there's a market for it, right? So
Right.
that's what I speak to. So it goes in a lot of different angles, but
Yeah.
that's my main thing.
Well, take us into a couple of those angles, perhaps.
Okay, sure. Like the most obvious things, like things about, like, you know, physical health in the home.
Yes.
So things to do with like water quality, air
Right.
quality, energy, toxins, and heat efficiency and stuff like that. So there's this whole umbrella of making homes more efficient, you know, being conscious of energy. That's happening on a provincial and kind of global level as well. But practically, like, every person needs good water, good air, you know, good food sources, natural light, a home free of toxins, like that kind of. And so I speak to experts about that. I bring content to my clients and followers about those subjects. Just simple things, you know, like that you might not think about when you're buying a home. It can be a perfect, beautiful home, right? But if there's a health issue that could affect your unique health situation, I see that as my responsibility also
Right.
to be aware of. Like we have already some, like realtors have some already professional obligations, you know, looking at disclosure documents to make sure, you know, if there's any potential risks health-wise, we got to bring it to the client's attention.
Right.
I'm just taking that further, right?
Okay. What would you welcome in terms of questions from your clients about health issues? If they come to you with specific concerns, what if you're suggesting to them what they should be asking you? What do you see as that list
Yeah,
of specifics? You mentioned water,
Yeah.
air quality.
Yeah. I would first say it depends on kind of what their situation is.
Yeah.
Where they're starting at. Like, are they buying? Are they selling?
Yeah.
Are they renovating?
Right.
Or are they just they're not planning to move, they just want to stay there a long time, right? So
Yes.
very quickly, you know, if they're buying something,
Yes.
obviously it's a big investment.
Yes.
If they're a first time buyer, or they're just people, they're not buying too many times in their life.
Yeah.
And you got to get it right. You can't give it back once you sign the mortgage and stuff like that, right? So knowing that the home that they're buying has certain health requirements for them. So
Yes.
pollution. How close is it pollution? Would it affect their kids? Like, what's the water source? What are the pipes made out of? How can you make sure the water is good quality? What could be the toxins in the air, in the paint, in the building materials?
Right.
Carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, these kind of anything that can affect a person's immune system in the home, right? If you're selling, flip it around. Like, sellers need to be conscious of, like, I already said, it's a buyer's market.
Right.
If there's only 5 or 10% of homes selling in any given market,
right.
let's say 10%, 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
So that means 9 out of 10 are not going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
You have an area, 10 for sale signs, 1 sold sign.
Right.
Say to the seller, if you want to be that sold sign,
right.
obviously we got to price it well. It's got to look good, but also the distinction, like, if your home is healthier and you disclose all that, you've invested in that, well, buyers are going to choose your home to be that 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
Right. So that's another important thing. Renovating, if people are they're planning to stay put, but they want to improve their home. Again, there's so many ways you can physically improve the health of your home, and the government's even offering incentives now to make that the case, through tax credits, just other knowledge that they're offering to, if you're spending more time at home, you got to renovate. If you've got an older home, you can renovate in ways to improve, like, the water, air, light, even the food sources around you, if you want to grow food at home even. So things like that. So it depends on where you're coming from, but there's lots of ways to help.
There's been a persistent concern over time about mold in homes. So that is another issue, I suppose, that buyers...
That's one example. Like, mold, like, it's an organic thing, right? So if there's moisture in the home, right, like if it's not ventilated well, that's an issue, right? So newer homes, they try to be very airtight.
Yes.
It's part of the energy efficiency thing. So in other words, like, the air coming in and out of the house is really controlled through mechanical systems. Versus, older homes might have more windows, more natural ventilation. And in those older homes, if there's more natural ventilation, more airflow changes, there's less mold.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Mold likes damp, cold, like, static kind of environments, right?
For sure.
But in most cases, mold is treatable. I just did a video on that, actually. Like, if it's small enough area, like less than 3 square meters, you can generally treat it yourself, just like with some alkaline water and dish soap, because and just kind of kill it. But if it's something bigger than that, you want to bring in a professional to it's probably deeper into the walls, and it's going to affect, like, asthma conditions, like respiratory issues for people. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for people to contact you, we'll put up your card on the video.
Yeah, very simple. And Healthy Homes Realtor. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, or just healthyhomesrealtor.ca. So I do have the market information stuff, but then, like I said, everything's in the context of, where you're buying and selling, is that going to make you healthier? Right? How can it make you healthier?
Yeah. Gennady Kraboy, thank you.
Thank you. That was great.